Oh no!
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's okay. We get it.
I was like, yes, Lord, come on with the cancellations.
Ooh, we going in and now just kidding.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm black. Am I good?
He's with the best of them, and he's one of my favorite men to come emphasize.
that entrance sounds like much more than who I actually am.
My guest of honor is the epitome of luxury, and everything she touches turns into a diamond. She's a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and she graduated from the University of Houston. She's a travel nurse expert, content creator, and entrepreneur. She's the owner of Cocoalamode Luxe Hair, and she will be adding the title of author to her long list of accomplishments this year. She has the best of both worlds, beauty and brains, but what sets her apart is her golden heart. Today, my guest of honor is Que The Ultrapreneur. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Man, that was amazing. Thank you for the intro.
No
Was
problem.
not
Well, you did all of
expecting
it.
that.
Well, you've done.
Wow,
You did
thank
all of
you.
that. So that's. I'm just reading off what you've done. Good. Well, I always want anybody listening to these podcast episodes to be able to trace your footsteps in the sand. So, can you start off by telling me a little bit about your background and like your childhood and your upbringing?
Okay, sure. As you all know, what may not know, I am originally from Fort Worth, Texas. I was born in Houston, but raised in Fort Worth, Texas, by my two parents, who were married and now divorced. And I kind of lived from house to house with them. I was spend some time with my mom, sometimes with my dad. But overall, I had a pretty good upbringing. I went to Eastern Hills Elementary School, Meadowbrook Middle School, and Eastern Hills High School. I was pretty active in school, in organizations and programs. And then immediately after graduation, I moved to Houston, where I kind of created a whole new life. And, the journey kind of went from there. I am the oldest of six siblings. I have seven, I'm sorry, I have six sisters and one brother. And that kind of made me have a bit of a mommy role just because I was involved in the, upbringing of them. And I absolutely love my family, my friends, and my grandma. So that's me.
Hey, Granny got to get all the love because she started
All
it.
of the love. Yes, absolutely.
I love my Granny too. That's my girl.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I had to put grandmama in there. Couldn't not mention her.
Well, you mentioned that you left Fort Worth and you went to Houston, and Houston and Dallas have this thing where it's like one think they're better than the other, right? But
Yes.
what one thing I can say about Houston is it does lay a foundation for entrepreneurs and for like just young people to go make a life for themselves or a name for themselves.
Hmm.
So when you
Yes.
went to college, could you tell me a little bit about how you kind of shifted in college and found your identity a little bit when you were in college?
Oh, this is a great question because some of my close friends, we've been talking about this and how grateful we are for the transition. Don't get me wrong, I will forever love Fort Worth because that is truly what created me, me and my personality and all that. But it was a huge transition. So
Hmm.
to anybody that is transitioning from one place to another, from high school to college or whatever, it's normal. It's a drastic change, and I truly had to adapt between the culture. Coming from Fort Worth is not a very friendly place. You're not taught to be friendly or to make friends or to network. It's very like cliquish, and it's just not always the most positive environment, for growth and entrepreneurship or whatever you may be looking into. So I had to do a lot of reality checks and adjustments to myself because I kept hitting a lot of roadblocks in my journey, and it was like, oh, this is me. This is me. I have to fix myself. I have to change my personality. I have to become more open. I have to be more understanding, and also just like adjust, like be open to adjustment and change. And once I was able to get that mindset, man, my life just changed for the best because at the time, University of Houston was like one of the top diverse schools. So even
Hmm.
though it was not a HBCU, we had a really really great Black community, um, Middle Eastern, Asian, Indian. Like it was such a huge um, diverse, school. So I was able to really create friends with all types of people, and it just made me look at life in the world completely different, and not just see life my perspective, but other people's as well. So being able to make that adjustment, it made my growth um, just girl, I'm just thankful. I'm truly thankful for where God took me and all the different experiences that I went through because it truly made me to who I am today. And Houston and Dallas Fort Worth is extremely different. I think
Hmm.
for Black business owners, Houston is definitely thriving and growing right now, and it's just way more opportunities. And I think it's just because the culture is different in the two cities.
That's the real thing, though. You just said it, the culture. The one thing I know
Mhm.
that Houston does really well is they're gonna make sure that they're gonna bridge the gap between the past, the present, and the future. Like
Oh yeah.
always, they're gonna make sure everybody's
Mhm.
accounted for. We're gonna all be here and
Mhm.
we're gonna all represent.
Yes.
So I
Oh
love the
yeah.
fact that you going to U of H gave you that opportunity to like reflect and like figure out what's happening with me and like how can I adjust. Because that's the name of the game when
Mhm.
it comes to life anyway. Adjusting is the key.
Yeah,
So
you have to. You have to.
yeah. Yeah. So whenever you went to U of H, what made you choose nursing of all things?
Ooh. Nursing actually was not my initial choice. My uh, first major was pharmacy. I thought that I wanted to be a pharmacist, and I knew I wanted to be in the medical field somewhat because I felt like it would I would be able to help people. I love people and meeting people and talking to people. So it will give me some type of experience with human interaction.
Hmm.
The pay was well. Girl, I was in high school. Like, what do I know about a salary? Girl, I used to Google salaries because I was like, I need to make some money. Okay. I want
Yeah.
to make money. So I was like, I need to that, need to be something and then something that will always be a need, So I knew the medical field would always be a need. So I was a pretty farm major and I was doing well in those classes. But when I started volunteering. I was like, I want to volunteer and try to kind of see, because at the time, if you're not licensed, you can't work, but you can kind of observe. So once I
Hmm.
started observing pharmacies, I was like, this is boring.
Hmm.
My personality is not being behind a glass counter, counting pills, and I respect pharmacists, by the way. So no disrespect, but I'm a talker and I like to engage, and I just like to be a little bit more needed. So
Hmm.
then I kind of spoke with my advisor, and then my mom's a nurse and my grandmother was a nurse. So I was like, I think I'm gonna go into nursing. And I like kids, so I knew that I wanted to do pediatric nursing. So to confirm that decision, I started volunteering at Texas Children's.
Hmm.
And crazy how God works because that's where I ended up working. But I volunteered at Texas Children's and I loved it. So I was, walking behind the nurses, playing with the patients and the kids and stuff. And I volunteered maybe like a few hours out of the week, but it was enough to confirm my decision that nursing was for me. And so I swiftly changed my major. But I ended up graduating at the time from U of H with a Bachelor of Science in Health. And
Hmm.
then I ended up transitioning to nursing school. I got my second bachelor's degree, which is a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. And here we are.
Look, and the rest is history.
Yes,
Everything happens for a reason. And I always
it
say
does.
that like no encounter is by chance, it's for a purpose and a reason. So I love that
Absolutely.
you were willing to seek out information and even intern and like take on those opportunities to volunteer and do different things so that you can
Mhm.
get an exposure to it. So
Mhm.
um so what made you take that nursing, the base of nursing and think about travel nursing? What sparked that interest?
I love traveling.
Hmm.
Uh, Traveling is a way for me to not necessarily escape because I don't have anything to escape from. I love my life. So
Yeah.
I say maybe explore. It was a great way for me to explore, learn about different cultures, try different foods. Um, and just live life and see things. Because growing up from where we from, people ain't really moving like that and ain't really seeing the world like that. And that was a priority for me simply because going back to how I feel about Fort Worth, how it's not very open. Um, you need to see the world outside of where you're from and outside of where you originate from, because if not, you will literally think that that's how the whole world thinks. You would think that that
Exactly.
yeah, and it's not like that. And once I started traveling to these different continents and countries, I was like, man, you realize how where you're from is so small, and how your
Yeah.
opinions are so small compared to the rest of the world. So the more that I was able to see and explore, it really just broadened my mindset, and constantly changes how I want to live my life, and kind of how I want to just be, how I want to be like a vessel in this world.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? The one thing I will tell you, like, for y'all that don't know, I met Q when we were in middle school. So
Mhm.
even in middle school, like Q, honestly, I'm not even lying about this. I could tell that you were gonna be bigger than, just Fort Worth. You seem to be a
Wow.
person that had a light, like you can see it. Like that's
Mhm.
probably why I was like, let me connect with Q. Like we're gonna be friends. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, we were
but
good friends. Mhm.
yeah. So it's like it's very clear that it started early and it was already in you. So it's
Mhm.
just like you just had to get exposed. And I love that you said that coming from where we come from, people don't even travel. They don't even go to Austin.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like they're scared to
Yeah.
go to another state that's connecting,
Yeah.
a place that's
Yeah.
connecting. So
I was gonna say, if
okay.
anybody is listening to this, it's definitely not not a jab. It's just me saying I've been there. I once lived that life and was really afraid of change. But if you have any type of interest in traveling or just wanting to see the world and experience the world, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Like, get out there. The world is a beautiful place.
It
And
is.
don't allow things that you see or hear on the news to distract you or deter you from that, because it be stuff happening right in your own city. So, get out there and live life and see the world, because you literally have one life to live and you don't need to be stuck in one space.
Yeah, I agree. And also when it comes to coming from places that may not be as luxurious, like
Mhm.
coming from different, because clearly I'm from the south side of Fort Worth. So,
Mhm.
um, coming from places like that, sometimes we have a scarcity mindset or like a survival
Mhm.
mode mindset. So,
Absolutely.
um, even when we do make it to certain spaces, sometimes we allow where we come from to stop us from enjoying the things that we've
Mhm.
worked hard for. And the one
Mhm.
thing I admire about you is the fact that you do not shy away from, I
I
like nice
don't.
things and I work
I don't.
hard.
Yeah, I
And
do.
I love that you value having your luxurious life. So can you speak to that a little bit, like why and how you got to that mindset of like, I'm gonna live my life and this time I'm gonna live and it's gonna look good.
Yes. So I think, according to my parents, I've always been this way. My mom literally tells me how, because you know, my mom had me at 16, so I grew up with my mother. So,
Hmm.
and my dad, they were both very young when they had me. So, a lot of my style and interest truly comes from them, and they came, from nothing. So, you know how it is when you ain't really got it, and you finally get it. You just This is how you are. So, I kind
Yeah.
of got a little of that from them. But one thing I will say about me is the way that I treat myself. I never think I'm better than anybody. I encourage other women to treat themselves just as well.
Yeah.
You have to prioritize your self care and treating yourself to a great life and to whatever extent that you can. And it's not always luxury. That's
Yeah.
just what I like for me. Luxury for me looks like this, but luxury for you may be taking a bubble bath, going to get a massage. Whatever luxury is for you, please indulge in it. But for me, it is just self care and prioritizing me and my feelings and my emotions and my health and my body and my mind, my spirit. Luxury is my spirituality, me making sure that I'm praying and meditating and having a relationship with God and just being a good human to people, and, just being a helper and being a vessel to others, and, you know, like communicating these things. And I don't want to get sidetracked, but it made me think about a conversation I was having with somebody, because a lot of these things that I talk about online, it really encourages other women to inbox me. And
Hmm.
anytime anybody inboxes me, it's completely 100% confidential. I don't ever speak or repeat it, but I get so many messages of women saying, "Hey, I saw your post about this. It encouraged me to do this. It encouraged me to do that," or even asking me questions about things that they was not always aware of, down to like hygiene.
Yeah.
Katrina, it's crazy. So I just I like to be that way, because although it may be common for you and I to know these things, but a lot of people weren't raised with that knowledge. And literally, social media is their only resource to learning about these things. So
Yeah.
it's very important for me to vocalize it and not gatekeep, because I feel like every woman should experience some sort of luxury, or just something beneficial to their self care or whatever they love or like, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I love that you said basically it starts within. Like
Yeah, it does.
your relationship with God is what
Mhm.
sets the tone for that, because we become heirs just from,
Mhm.
accepting Christ. So
Mhm. Mhm.
we're already in the kingdom.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
only natural that like what happens in heaven should be happening here on earth. So it's just
Mm.
a reflection of
I
that.
know that's right.
So
For
can you
real.
tell me what God means to you? What role does he play in your life?
Oh man. Girl. Oh, he plays an important role in my life, but right now I think we kind of like, we having a couple some issues right now, but it's okay. I'm trying to work on just vocalizing things with him. So God is like my best friend. He's my father. He is my counselor. He's my diary. He's all of that for me. And sometimes I kind of shy away because I get in my head a lot and I try to work out problems on my own. And it's literally him constantly saying, "What are you doing? Like, you don't
Mhm.
even know what you're doing. You need to come back to me, because you're just creating a whole mess. And who gonna clean it up? I am.
Mhm.
So bring it back."
Yeah.
But God is everything to me. And even on my worst days, Katrina, I be like, if God never does anything else for me, He has really done enough. I have
Mhm.
lived an amazing life, and that's how I feel about God. He's
Yeah.
blessed me so much to where, at my age, my young age, I'm literally saying, if He don't bless me with nothing else, I'm okay.
Yeah. And I think that part of that too is the fact that you don't gatekeep. Because what
Mm-mm,
people think that, I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna hold it close and I'm just gonna keep it for
mm-mm,
me and my family, right? But the fact that
mm-mm,
you are an open, willing vessel
mm-hmm,
lets him know that
mm-hmm.
he can trust you.
Yeah.
So if he can
Mm,
trust you, he can bless you too. So
yes.
I love that you understand the calling and the responsibility when it comes to, to whom much is given, much is required. And
Oh,
you're doing the
absolutely.
work. So I'm happy to see you doing the work.
Thank
Um,
you.
but shifting from your heavenly father, let's talk about your earthly father and your earthly mother. Tell me what they mean
Yes.
to you too. Like tell me how they've just been,
Oh.
part of the molding of Q.
Man, they mean everything to me. Growing up, I did not always have the best relationship with my mom, and people, I'm sure they know that. However, growing into the woman that I am now and seeing how life is and how hard life is, I can't imagine having a child at 16. Katrina.
Yeah.
So I have to give my mother grace and understand that life is hard for her too.
Mhm.
She's been through things, still going through things, and I rather have good times with my mom than bad times with my mom. And that
Mhm.
comes with a ooh girl maturity. I was
Yeah.
not always this mature. My 20s, I was a hothead and I would go back and forth with my mom, at times be a little disrespectful. And I hate that I was that way, because now that, I have lived, I don't have any kids, but I can see how raising a child at that early, where your youth has been stripped, is difficult.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I give my mom grace, and I love my mom to death. And I thank God for her, the good and the bad. Like, because she's who I come from, you know?
Mhm.
As far as my dad, I'm a daddy's girl. I love my dad to death. My dad showed me what love looks like. from a man. My dad taught me how to communicate with a man, how to respect a man, how to love a man, all these different things when it comes to a man. I'm so appreciative of him being not just a provider, but just actually being physically in my life. Like my dad was just
Yeah.
here last week. He was here.
Hmm.
So he's always around. He pop in, whatever, and he's just constantly reminding me of and showing me what a real black man looks like and how he's supposed to carry himself and how he's supposed to treat me. So
Yeah.
if I ain't been treated like that, yeah, we ain't.
You can go. You can go ahead
It
and
ain't.
you
We
can go
can
ahead and move on.
move around. But yeah, I love my parents, and I'm blessed to have them, and I'm so happy that they met and got married, even though they're not together, and got a divorce when I was a baby. But I'm so happy that they created me because I love it here.
Yeah. It sounds like they taught you the lesson of humanity, or like
Hmm.
to see like people as humans.
Yes.
And so I'm sure that plays a huge role in what you do. Because
Hmm.
I feel like being a nurse is not something that you just do; it's something that you're called to. So,
Absolutely.
um, when it comes to your experience with nursing and in being in different spaces, or in
Hmm.
different places, like would you say that it's a lot different in different states and different places, or would you say that the role is still the same?
Absolutely different. Yeah, it's very different from the West Coast, East Coast, South, North. Culture,
Mm-hmm.
tradition. The South is Southern hospitality, so you deal with people who are just a lot nicer. They're not as guarded. You like never really meet a stranger.
Mm-hmm.
But on the West Coast, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
a lot of it's different. It is, and not only with the patients, but the nurses and the staff as well. So I had to learn to adapt. And early on, it was very hard.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got into the grooves of just realizing that this is just what it is, this is life. I'm in a completely different environment and I have to adjust. I have to sit back. What I do is I observe and then I adjust. And
Mm-hmm.
I remind myself what I'm here for. I'm here to do my job, make a living and come on back home. So
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
long as you keep that mindset, I'm not trying to go and change nothing. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to work and be a resource. And as long as you do that and stay out of trouble and out of people's way and drink your water,
And mind your
you'll be
business.
good. Mind your business. That's what I literally mind my business, but it's very different. And no matter where I go, it makes me appreciate being from the South. It really does. We're,
Yeah.
we're just we're just built a little different, you know.
Facts. That is facts.
Hmm.
Can you tell me how you transitioned into wanting to be an entrepreneur? How did that come about?
I have always been an entrepreneur. As a child, my earliest days, I remember me and my best friend Ashley, we had money, girl, and I was like, let's go buy candy and sell it to the neighbors. This is when I lived in Woodhaven in the Huntingtons. And I don't know what they call now, but back then they were called the Huntingtons. And I went to the little corner store and spent all my little allowance on money and got a box and literally went door to door asking people if they wanted to buy candy. And I know these people was like, little girl, you're literally like 7 or 8 years old. What are you doing? But I've always had the mindset of an entrepreneur. Always. In
Mm-hmm.
middle school, I wanted to start a babysitters club. In high school, I started doing hair. I was a whole hairstylist in high school, doing my classmates' hair, charging $35 a head. And then college, I was doing hair, made it a profession, had a whole clientele. I didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
In nursing school, I had a wig line. I had girl, I was doing half of Houston's hair. Never had a job in nursing school because I was making enough money to pay my bills from doing hair. So I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to make something or do something, create something to sell because that's just in me. It's
Mm-hmm.
truly in me. And my
That's
parents,
always the
my
first
parents are the
job.
same way. Hmm. Hmm.
That's always the entrepreneur's first job, or our first
Selling
our first
candy.
business, selling candy, because that was mine too. In Meadowbrook, I was like,
Yes,
we
I
got all of these.
remember. I remember. You didn't play either. You didn't give no
No,
discounts. You was like, these are my prices.
these the
You want it or you
prices
don't.
now. The vending machine is down there. So you can buy it from me, you can buy it from the vending machine. But nah, I love that. And I know that doing hair ain't no $35 no more.
It
The
ain't.
price went
They
up.
charge $350.
Yeah. The price
Yeah,
went
it's
up.
tough. Hmm.
The the one thing I admire about you too is the fact that you know when to transition out of certain spaces. So like I know you said that you were doing hair and then I know that you transitioned into another level. So you're not just
Yeah,
doing hair, you're going and making your own line and you're making
yeah,
things
yeah,
like you're going across seas to go get this hair and do all these different
yeah.
things. So tell me about the Lux Hair brand. Like tell me about that and how it came about.
Oh God, man, thank you, God. But so, I was doing hair full time and nursing full time up until COVID, and it shifted things greatly. And that's when I decided to leave my staffing job and become a travel nurse. With being a travel nurse and being gone all the time, it's very difficult to keep a consistent client, base.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, I kind of had to retire from doing hair and just do travel nursing, but I still wanted to keep my clients and be in the beauty industry somewhat. So I said, I want to provide luxury hair, but hair that looks well for my Black women because hair it's making it's growing, but it doesn't always look the way it should. It doesn't always blend the way it should with our Black hair. And I said I want to find something where it literally mimics a Black woman's hair, to where you
Hmm.
really can't tell from where her hair starts to where it ends. That is what I want for my women because I don't want to start here looking crazy.
Nah.
So after doing research, I discovered that Cambodian hair was the texture was thick, the shine and it just looks very well and very similar to our natural hair. Well, if it's like pressed or straight, you know.
Hmm.
So after doing research and research and research and wasting lots and lots of money and time, I finally found the connection. And what I did was I traveled to Cambodia by myself, girl, and I had an amazing time. I went to the temples and the pyramids and kind of just saw the whole process of how the hair is brought about. And I made amazing connections with them. Like we talk, I literally supposed to be talking to them today. We talk all the time and we have a great relationship. So I plan to be in this industry a very long time, and this is just the beginning. I'm hoping that it grows and that I'm able to provide hair worldwide.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how Cocoalamode began. And as far as the name, I wanted something that represented or symbolized like black, brown luxury. So that's where the cocoa comes from. Cocoa is like dark chocolate, and then a la mode means like high fashion luxury. So I kind of put those two together, and that's how I got the name for the business. And pretty much what I sell is raw Cambodian extensions, and I sell eyelashes and other beauty products that I plan to bring along soon.
Yeah. This is only the beginning. It's only the beginning for sure. I always
Hmm.
say the sky is the starting point. Like
Hmm.
it really is the
Absolutely.
starting point. So I love the fact, like I said, that you understand how to transition and you know
Hmm.
how to continue to let something grow. You knew you wanted to stay in this space, but you had
Hmm.
to adjust,
Yes.
adjust to
Yes.
make sure that you can stay
Yes.
and still be able to maintain what you're doing when it comes to your main
Yes.
thing that you're doing. So,
Hmm.
um, would you say that starting the company was a easy feat, or would you say that it was one of those things where you had to do a lot of trial and error?
It was a lot of trial and error, because I got cheated a lot, and that's why I needed to make the trip because I was buying so much hair from people who claimed they were raw and virgin and this, and the hair that I would be ordering would be just awful, awful hair, awful products. So I said, I'm gonna get on the plane, I'm gonna go there myself and
Hmm.
touch it and feel it and see how it's made and make sure nobody's being abused. So I'm in the workshops, I'm in the warehouses and seeing that it's cool climate. The workers are taking breaks. They ain't it ain't no sweatshop pretty much. So when you are getting products from environments like that, people are being well taken care of. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that. And yeah, I was sold.
Yeah. Look, that says a lot about your standards and your integrity. Um, Tell me
Hmm.
what would you say are your core values?
Ooh, core values. Number one would be respect. Um, two would be loyalty. Three is consistency.
Mhm.
Consistency is a huge word for me. Um, honesty and grace.
That's beautiful. We need all of them. We
We
need them
do.
all,
We do.
especially consistency. And
Mhm.
one thing that I've seen by like following you and like just being a part of this journey is the amount of people that you have around you that love you, like your
Mhm.
friend groups, and like how
Mhm.
y'all really do like stay connected and you maintain relationships well. So when it comes to like maintaining your relationships with your friends as you continue to grow and get bigger and different things like that, what would you say has been the glue for that and how you've been able to?
It's not easy. It's not easy because you tend to not necessarily outgrow, but it's just everybody has their own journey when it comes to whatever it is they're doing career wise, family, marriage, lifestyle, whatever. Everybody has their own journey. And I think it's sometimes when people see that you're growing or you're elevating or you're not in the same space as them, it kind of makes them uncomfortable. It doesn't make me uncomfortable though, because I know that my life will forever change. There can be a moment where I could be down or up, but what will remain the same is the love that I have for the people that are around me. So I wish that more people had that kind of mindset, because the way that I think we are, black people are, it's like, if you start to see somebody, elevating or rising, like, I don't know why we begin to shy away from them. And it's like, why? Like, you've been knowing me my whole life. Like, what would change? Why would anything change on my end? We still the same.
Mhm.
I'm still the same person. And I'm the type of person to where whatever I get, exposed to, I'm trying to put my people on. I'm trying to help, and we all gonna grow. That's what I want. But
Yeah.
the glue, I would say, is just knowing um, who these people really are to me. Like, it there are so many times in my life where I can look back on all these influential people and be like, man, like, they were there for me at this point in my life, at this point in my life. And just that alone just makes me be like, nah, we locked in. You ain't
Yeah.
going nowhere, I ain't going nowhere. And I truly understand that friendships, um, they up and down. It's like a marriage, like, you're gonna go through rough patches in your friendships, and you have to be willing to get past that and keep going. Like, it's okay, okay. We ain't on eye to eye right now, but in a few months we gonna get back on. But both have to be willing to put in the work for that. So that's the glue for me, just
Mhm.
knowing that it's not always going to be up here. But I'm that loyal to where it's like I'm okay if our friendship is down here, because I know we'll be back up here in no time. And
Yeah.
I'm always willing to be that friend to say, hey, I'm sorry. If I did something to you, I'm so sorry. How can I fix this? How can we move past this? But I want you in my life.
Yeah. Look, that accountability piece is so strong. That alone
Mhm.
can help you save and maintain relationships because that's something that's a lost skill. I feel like a lot of people don't
Mhm.
have it or not they're not
Yeah.
willing to, exude it. So
Yeah.
it's great that you are willing to do that and you'll be the first to say you're sorry when you know that you may have wronged someone or
Mhm.
even if you don't know if you wronged them.
Yeah.
Um I think
Yeah.
that's a great skill set to have and a great character trait to have because you need that accountability across the board with everything that you're doing as well. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I want to ask you too. So you talk about you educating and making sure that you
Uh-huh.
are sharing knowledge online
Uh-huh.
and doing all the content. So what caused you to want to get heavy in your content creation?
Ooh. Number one is I just really enjoy doing it. It is
Mhm.
time consuming, but I enjoy the reactions that I get from people. Because
Mhm.
although we may think that a lot of this stuff is common sense or it's common knowledge, but a lot of people really be like, wow, that actually helped me. Or, they're inspired by things that I post. So I love being able to teach people and help people prevent a lot of the mistakes that I made. I'm like, look, if I can teach you this and you don't have to go down a journey that I went through, you can start on top of, of where I am or where I started. I will be so happy for you because
Mhm.
life can be so much easier if we had the resources and the guidance. But, we're not always blessed with that. So I try to use my platform to guide, but also entertain, make people laugh sometimes. But I just kind of want a very easy or easier life, for those who are struggling in the nursing field or the medical field or whatever the case may be. I want to be that person to help alleviate stress and
Yeah.
trial and error.
Yeah, because time and information, they're both currency. So
Yes,
you're helping with two
yes.
different issues at the same
Mhm.
time. Um,
Mhm.
and speaking of information, we're gonna be adding author to the name, to the list, the
Oh my
title.
God, we are. We are.
Tell me
I'm
about
trying to get
this.
like you, friends.
You gonna get there too, and I can't wait. Can't wait to
Thank
buy
you.
it.
Thank
tell,
you.
tell me about the premise of your book.
So with me pushing content and posting a lot about travel nursing, I get so many DMs about how do I become a travel nurse? Where do I start? What do I need to do? How much experience do I need? And I found myself writing these same response all the time. I would probably get like anywhere from 3 to 5 messages a day about how someone can be a travel nurse. So I said, I'm gonna write a book. That way, when people ask me, I can just send them the link. Y'all can just get the book and you literally have all the answers there.
Yep.
I'm going to spill all the tea, give all the information, the good, the bad, down to how to break down pay, down to how to travel safely, what to do on your first day of the assignment. All of that is going to be in the book. So I can't wait to release it. The book is complete. It's written. It's in the editing phase, and I hope to have a release date soon. The book is titled The Millionaire Nurse,
Yes.
and
Speak that.
The Millionaire Nurse, and it's gonna be out very soon. Hope that the network that I'm building will be very supportive of that.
You don't have to hope, they will. They will. Because you've
Man,
been building that trust, and that you've been pouring into them and
mm-hmm,
giving them value for so long. It's
mm-hmm.
done. It's already done.
Okay, mm,
It's
thank
already
you.
done. No problem. I gotta throw a wild card in here because I know that you just said millionaire nurse, right? I love
Mm-hmm,
the fact
mm-hmm.
that you're not afraid to diversify your funds and the money
No,
that you bring in. So can you
mm-hmm.
talk about that just a little bit about how you can possibly uh multiply it to different streams, or how you would diversify your funds once you actually make some money?
Ooh, listen, number one, I would tell you get a professional, get a financial advisor, and get a CPA, okay?
Mhm.
Because it is nurses out here, including myself, that are making money and didn't know what in the world to do with it or didn't know how to just because we just not used to it. We're not used
Mhm.
to having so much money at such a short amount of time. So those are my number one things. Seek financial advisors and CPAs. That is number one. Invest. And I know investing looks different for everybody. You can invest in a business. You can invest in an IRA. You can invest in stocks. Or whatever. And you can invest in investments. Or real estate. So have a plan. Number one, have a plan and make sure you go through your plan with a professional
Mhm.
and make sure that what you are investing in, you have educated yourself because a lot of people rely on like Facebook statuses and stuff like that, and you go and spend money on this stock, and you're not even involved in the stock market. So don't think that just because you're buying stocks that you're making money, because that's not how it goes. Whatever it is that you're doing, number one, be passionate about it. Be passionate enough to where you are seeking knowledge. You're reading
Mhm.
books, you're watching videos, whatever the case may be, to learn about it before you put your money into something because you don't want to lose it, and that's the reality of investing is that as much as you think you can gain, you can lose as well. So for
Mhm.
me, I do stocks as well. I have an IRA. I have my own personal retirement account outside of what I get from employment. And then I have my hair business. My hair business, it was big for me, so I invested a lot of money into that, and that's why I'm like I don't have no other options but for it to work. It has to because
Mm-hmm.
listen, I have put my blood, sweat, and tears into this company, and that's just what it is. So, to all my future nurses, entrepreneurs, professionals, or anybody that's listening, the way that the financial market is going is very scary. Even for people who are degreed and have careers, I can't tell you what the next couple of years is going to look like, but as somebody who doesn't have kids, has a career and side hustles, it is still hard. It is
Mm-hmm.
very hard. So, to my youth out there, please take education seriously because if you don't, I'm really afraid for your future and just what it will look like simply to buy groceries. You know, within the next couple of years, buying groceries is expensive. You know, um, we were talking about luxury things earlier, but that's that's a reward. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's if you can afford it. If you do not take life serious and handle your business and educate yourself and make better choices in your life, you won't even be able to afford a luxury lifestyle because the minimal basics you will be difficult for you to obtain. So just you know, the reality is times are hard. So please
Yeah, times are hard and they only gonna
be
get
very
harder.
serious. They only gonna get harder. Be very serious about your finances and your money, and don't be out here just doing, crazy stuff because you see somebody or whatever. Whatever. Just be mindful of how you spend your money and how you invest, and be sure to save and things of that sort.
Absolutely. Q doesn't just she just not out here looking like this. Y'all,
Mm-mm.
she actually
No.
taking care of her business first and then
Yes.
she's doing the fun things. Like
Exactly.
she taking care of
Mhm.
securing home first. So I'm so
Mhm.
glad that you said that and they heard it from your mouth because they hear it from me all the time. But I'm glad
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
heard it from you.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I just have one more question for you. If
Okay.
you if you knew then what you know now, would you change anything?
No, I would not. I would not. The only thing I probably would change is girl applying for more scholarships because student loans is, excuse me,
Disrespectful.
very like the nerve of y'all to be calling me. Y'all better stop calling me. I'm just playing.
Y'all will get it later. Y'all get it.
Right? No, but
Shoot.
that's probably it. Apply for scholarships. But no, man, I wouldn't change anything. I love who I am and I love my life and I love every obstacle that I've been through because it has made me who I am.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Hmm.
Well, you please keep being um this representative. I know it can get heavy at times, but for real, like and I don't want to make it a skin tone thing, but seeing someone
Yes.
brown skin
Yes.
doing what you're doing and being very
Hmm.
visible and taking those spaces is so important. Like it's so
Thank
important.
you.
So I'm so glad to see you doing what you're doing. Like, so please keep doing it, friend.
Likewise, friend. I'm so proud of you. I really
Thank
am.
you.
You are just an amazing person, but you've always been that way. You've always been very serious and very mature and just like, you know, just a really good person. So I love seeing you doing the things you're doing. I love seeing you working with the youth. I love seeing all the projects that you're doing. And I will forever support you and appreciate you for supporting me in return.
Oh, no
I
problem.
have
That's what
one
we
thing to
do.
say though, Katrina. Do you remember we had those Mickey Mouse gold necklaces in middle school?
Yes, I do. We've been shining. No, just like
But he really was.
we've been shining, y'all. Look.
Katrina and I both had Mickey Mouse gold pendants. Katrina was bigger than mine though. She had the big dog. I had the little pup, but we still, we shared that similarity and jewelry.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh. I think that's hilarious though, because it's true.
yes,
And nameplates, of course. You know, you have to
yes,
have a
yes.
nameplate. If you didn't have a nameplate in Fort Worth, you was losing. I'm sorry. You was
You
just
weren't
losing.
popping.
You weren't
You
popping.
weren't
So
popping.